In this video, I want to talk about the 17th facility that I've actually just recently opened here in Phoenix, Arizona, and what that process actually looked like. And it will actually catch a lot of you by surprise, the size of the facility and why I decided to actually pursue this type of facility. So if you're interested, make sure to stick around. What is going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, thank you so much for all the love and support that each and every single one of you have shown in this channel and for this video. And if you have not yet, make sure to go check out legionassistedlivingacademy.com, where I teach how to start your own facility from A to Z. Also, feel free to go check out valleyalfventures.com if you are an operator looking to potentially lease a property, or if you're an investor looking to potentially invest into the space of healthcare and residential assisted living from a passive side of things. Feel free to reach out to us. We would love to have that discussion with you. And if you are looking to potentially sell your facility here in the state of Arizona, we are always looking at different opportunities. We would love to have a conversation with you. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. The 17th facility that I've actually recently opened is not one that you would often think would be one that a lot of people actually talk about. And I've not talked about it as much on this channel. I've kind of alluded to it due to like things like special licensing, right? Or becoming a niche type of facility in order to charge higher rates, right? And this is one of those types of facilities. It does require a special type of license. It still falls under the category of group homes or residential assisted living or any of these other kind of umbrella terms. So with this type of special licensing, it's for individuals with intellectual disabilities or developmental disabilities. And these individuals are higher acuity oftentimes than not, and they require a lot of one-on-one care or special type of care for that specific type of individual. And the reason why a lot of people do not pursue this type of licensing is due to the fact of how long it actually takes to eventually become a provider with the state. And then licensing doesn't necessarily take as long, but there's kind of a caveat or a catch-22 that happens when it comes to licensing for special licensing like developmental disabilities or intellectual disabilities. And the catch-22 is that here in the state of Arizona, you do have to become a vendor or a provider prior to you actually becoming a licensed facility. So in order to become a vendor or provider, that takes a long time. It takes anywhere from a year to even 2 years to eventually become a provider. And the reason being is because they only issue these specific licenses or even vendor applications a certain time of the year. And sometimes if they have enough vendors or providers, they will skip a year, and that's why it could take up to 2 years to eventually become a vendor or a provider. And not only that, but even once you do get approved as a vendor, you didn't have about 60 to 90 days to get licensed through the state. And then once you get licensed, you didn't have to wait to accept your first member or be awarded your first member. So once you become a provider or a vendor, you then get awarded a member, or it's essentially getting a resident or a client in your home. And only then can you go get licensed. And so it's really a waiting game, and it's really you're at the mercy of the state pushing your application through, and also the state even opening up for individuals to be able to apply to become a vendor or a provider for this type of license specifically. And so when it comes to a lot of these special licenses, or even trying to get certain type of clientele like this, you have to wait quite a while. Now, you could go get licensed, right? But you're not gonna necessarily be commending the type of rates that you could get once you become a provider or a vendor. To have private pay clients of this sort can be oftentimes difficult because not a lot of people have the resources to be able to pay for these types of services that an individual with developmental disabilities or intellectual disabilities would be able to need, right? So even though I do take private pay, it's better to become a vendor and a provider. And so finally becoming a vendor and a provider has what's taken so long And even then, right, I still had to wait and to get awarded a member or a client from the state specifically. Now, there's a lot of pros and cons to waiting and going the private route with assisted living or even behavioral. But again, a lot of the pros and waiting for this type of special licensing is the rates that you can actually charge. The rates change so drastically from the type of clientele you're gonna serve. With the intellectual disabilities and developmental disabilities, you're able to command rates from $10,000 to even $20,000 a month, but you are capped off at 3 to 5 members or residents per location or per site. So it's not like you can go and license up to 10 beds like you could in residential assisted living, given if you have the right property and the right layout and dimensions of each room, etc. Right? With this though, because you're only going up to 5, you don't necessarily need to go through all the zoning regulations that you would if you were to go get licensed as a 10-bed residential assisted living. So therefore, your requirements to be able to actually start a developmental disability facility is a lot less. And so that is why there's a lot of nuances when it comes to these types of licenses. And that's the beauty of getting into the space, is that you're not tied down to just one type of license that you could apply for. And not every location is going to work perfectly for just assisted living or for developmental disabilities or for behavioral or other types of licenses or dementia or Alzheimer's or memory care, essentially. Every location, every site, every type of license is gonna have so many different things that will allow for a certain site to work for that specific type of license. So with all that being said, we finally became a vendor with the state for developmental disabilities. And because of that, we're able to start taking those types of clients on one site. Now, once this all kind of takes off, to be able to expand and to be able to open additional sites is going to take a little longer, but it's not as convoluted, or it doesn't take nearly as long. So the hope is get this first site going with developmental disabilities, and then from there continue to expand on this side of things. Now, I have multiple types of facilities. I have assisted living facilities, I have behavioral facilities, I have now DDD facilities, and I'm just gonna continue to vertically integrate and add on to the portfolio of facilities that I have. And that's the goal, right? For each individual, I hope that this video more so inspires you, and to know that, hey, look, there's not only one way to do things. There's not only residential assisted living. There's not only behavioral health. There's not, and even under these specific umbrellas, there's so many different avenues you can go. And you don't want to be distracted by all of it. I started out with whatever was the lowest barrier of entry, meaning what was the easiest thing to get into? And that was residential assisted living, because the licensing was a lot quicker. You could go do the private pay right away once you got licensed. There wasn't as many caveats, and there wasn't nearly as many conversions and things that I needed to do to a property in order to get that license. Then I moved into behavioral, and there was a whole set of things there that I had to learn. And then from there, I came across developmental disabilities. And that is where I was like, okay, here's this whole kind of avenue to go down. Let me learn about it. One thing I love to always preach is be a student. Always be willing to grow and learn. And that's what I did. And there was so much I still have yet to learn on developmental disabilities, and it's something I'm willing to share on this channel for a lot of you, and to continue to help you guys and guide you guys. So I will continue to put out videos in regards to this topic and how this facility, now that we got our first member and first client there, that was on a private pay, but I'm waiting to get the state members. So with that, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know any questions you guys have down below. Again, give me a follow on TikTok as well. I'll continue to put out videos on there as much as I possibly can. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and thank you. And I hope that you guys are enjoying the holidays with your families. And thank you again for all the support. And I will talk to you all in the next one.